Right.
Right. Oh, yes, I'm brave. Me? Okay. Um,
Who are you?
I'm Teresa Bayron's Taco.
Good. I'm glad you still know that.
I'm I have potatoes that are chitting. I love that word, chitting, which means they're growing sprouts. We bought these in various places, but we only have two varieties. This one is Kennebec, which is recommended for this area as being the most disease resistant. It's a white potato. It's a general purpose potato. So some of the potatoes we cut made sure that there were at least two buds on the potato pieces. Some of them are a little bit smaller. And these are just starting to sprout. And we're trying to get them to seal over. They're already starting. They're dry on the spot where we cut them. On the other side we have, what are they, red Norland? And these were like this when we bought them from Tractor Supply. So we have to be very careful not to knock the sprouts off. And these will have red skin, and they're also a general purpose potato, which I favor for potato salad. And these also, a few of them were cut because the potatoes were big or whatever. This one, all the sprouts seem to be on one side, so I didn't want to cut it. It can just go in the ground just like this. So my husband has the plan in his mind for how he wants to put them in the ground, so he can tell you about that.
For me?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I'll tell you about that tomorrow when we go to plant them.
Okay.
But anyhow, today is March 10th. And when's our last frost date?
I think it's March 11th. Our last frost date is May 1st.
May 1st. But potatoes are a hardy crop, so you can put them in the ground now and they'll just sit there until they're ready. But these guys in the house are ready. So that's why we're going to go put them outside. You just can't put them out too early in case they rot. In the ground, they'll rot. But we'll give it a shot and it's fine. But I'll tell you, we get a bag of potatoes. They come in this bag, and there's a little window on the other side, and it was $7.99 for 4 pounds. So we were going to plant even a bigger potato patch, but we're just going to stick with these bags right here and see how we do. And next year we'll take some of the potatoes at the end of the year and we'll put them in buckets of sand, and then we'll have our own potato sprouts for next year. So we'll expand next year. But for this year, we're just going to go with the reds and the whites. And if we can, we'll get some sweet potatoes, right?
Right, but they won't go in until May.
Because we have a 16 by 16 patch for the potatoes right now. And they go, how far are you spacing them now? About a foot?
Yeah, I believe you put them in troughs and put them a foot apart.
About a foot apart, yeah. So if you do 16 by 16, that's 140 potato sprouts we'd need to put in the ground. And I'm not going to go buy 5 more bags and spend $50 on potatoes. So we'll just let some of these sprout, and then we'll have to learn how to make our own next year. All right, so we're going to show you our indoor seeding rack. This is the first time that we've started sprouting our own seeds.
Right. I generally would buy plants, which I still have more to plant. But I have already put out the cabbage out in the bed, and now I'm just starting some lettuce so I can put that in among the onions, and all from seed. So we got a rack.
All right, we'll go over and show you.
Okay.
So this is our first time. This is the largest garden, I guess, we've had in a long time. So we just got this rack, which has adjustable shelves. That's what Teresa wanted. And what do we got growing now? Let's show them what we got before we...
You have enough light?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So I have lettuce growing over in this area. And I don't have it on a heating pad or anything because it already sprouted and it doesn't really need a lot of heat. 65 to 70 degrees in the house is plenty warm for it. My husband started a bunch of tomato seeds and they were having a problem with fungus in the potting soil. So I added a little bit of copper diluted with water and they're doing much better now. And I put them on the heating pad, which is under this tray. And now they're doing a lot better. And I have some new lettuce that just sprouted. I'm trying to do succession planting with the lettuce because I love fresh lettuce and supermarket just doesn't do it. We bought some strawberry crowns. I bought 2 bags from Walmart and only one was successful. So we're trying to buy not from Walmart after this when we start strawberry plants. But the idea is we're going to have plants instead of putting the bare roots in the ground and waiting for them to get started. This way, when the temperature is right, we can just put the plants in and get a head start. Maybe we'll get strawberries this year.
Well, that was the idea why we started these earlier and put them indoors. Although strawberries want to come out early in the season anyhow and get started early. You know, they like a little bit of cold weather. And down here
we had some seeds that we started earlier for tomatoes. My husband wants to have tomatoes in April. So
those are more strawberries.
These plants are doing well.
Well, that one doesn't look so good. The leaves are all curled on that one. So this has the newest strawberries. So those got started earlier, and these are crowns that Teresa almost buried, not quite buried. So anyhow, we picked this spot for our rack because we got the sliding doors here. Now it's east exposure here, so we're getting the morning sun. It's morning time right now on what was today's date?
11th.
The 11th. It's a Saturday, the 11th of March. So we'll see what it does. But the plants are doing pretty good here. And these are the lights that I've got. They're LEDs. And we're going to show you. Teresa's going to flip it on. Put your sunglasses on. So we leave that on for what? Like 8 hours?
No, about 12 hours a day.
She's giving it 12 hours a day. So this one's upside down.
And this one's
the light's facing up.
The heating mat, and it doesn't really heat. It just keeps a constant temperature. It's not like a heating pad that you put on your body. It's a lower heat.
This one has to be turn this over. So see these bulbs are all white, and now on this side you have the darker area.
Oh,
so
I see.
So it's pointing the light down.
Got it.
So those are very, very lightweight, and I bought them in a 10-pack, so they were pretty cheap. But there's no weight to them, so you could hang them on the racks if you like. They work good. They're very bright. So anyhow, that's what we're planning. And now what's going to come next? All this has to go very soon.
In April, I want to start more tomatoes, particularly plum tomatoes, and a couple different kinds of peppers. Probably start all the melons, watermelon, cantaloupe, and maybe honeydew, and maybe the butternut squash. But I will put the string beans and the cucumber seeds right in the ground because I know that they can take care of themselves.
Okay. So now I'm going to show you the tomato. Get that one there that's kind of tipping over. Is that one of my tomatoes?
Yes.
Show them how I did that.
Looks like
So when you got a metal rack, if you overwater, it's going to fall through and go all over the place. So we can't have that. So what I do is I take a blue cup, which fits inside the red cup and leaves a little space in the bottom. Now, yeah, I'm not going to show them the holes. There's holes in the bottom of the blue cup. So the roots can go through there, and it won't get root bound in that cup because the roots can actually go through the holes if they want to. Those were cups we had sitting around. I didn't go out and buy plastic cups, but you can. So they're going to go easy in the ground like that. Now I grew a whole bunch more. We have two kinds. We have What kinds did I get? I got a
You had a beefsteak type.
beefsteak, yeah, and then those are
Celebrity?
celebrities. So I put
C, yeah.
a C on the cups for the celebrity and the B for the beefsteak, so I know which ones are which. Now I grew extras of these because it's our first time gardening in the area, and there's a couple gardening clubs and groups, and I was just growing some extra ones that I could give away to people, but they didn't make it.
They had some problems, like I said, and I put a diluted solution of copper, which is a fungicide, and also I put some soil activation granules that I get from Gardens Alive. Our soil here is so poor that it doesn't have all the little micro organisms in it, and I wanted to add some of that back in because in an organic garden, the interaction is between the plants and the organisms in the soil, so they're, beneficial nematodes and all that kind of stuff is good to have. You want to give them a good home, not just the vegetables on top of the soil, the plants, but also what's going on beneath the surface. It's very important.
So we don't like to spend a lot of money, so we used the solo cups that we had around. The rack we got at a yard sale. The lights are the lights that go in my pole barn. And what do you got here, hon? What is this?
Oh, these are milk cartons. These are great. We usually get quarts of half and half because it's easier for us to pick up with our hands. And so I punctured them in the bottom for drainage, and these were started in vermiculite. Then I transferred them into something a little bit more nourishing for them. And then they kind of rot away, although with the cabbage that I put outside, I cut squares off the top and used them as cutworm collars.
It's cutworm collars.
Yeah.
Now these, because you don't have an extra solo cup like we did for the tomatoes, we had to put it in a tray and to catch any extra water that comes through.
Right.
So you tried something else before that didn't work. You said they deteriorated too fast.
There were red paper cups, but these will deteriorate. The bottoms, start to rot out pretty quickly, which is good. You want the things to break down. And I reuse all the plastic containers.
Yeah, these are plastic containers that are like our windowsill containers, and we put them on our porch. She puts mint and different things in different containers out there.
Yeah, it's too early for those.
So, yeah, it's too early. Now, before she uses those, she cleans them very, very well.
You have to disinfect them from year to year. You can do that with bleach or alcohol, or I like to use bleach because it's cheap and you can dilute it to whatever strength you want and just kind of scrub everything out. I'm trying to water these. I didn't water them yesterday. Little tiny lettuce seedlings. Yes. And yes, I can pull them out and do it, but
so anyhow, the cost of plants just keeps going up. So this is, like I said, this is our first year starting from seed, and the tomato seeds I saved the beefsteaks ourselves, and so we're saving other seeds as we can now. So there's a lot of videos out there on YouTube on how to do seed saving. We haven't really learned any cool tricks or anything like that yet, so we didn't do a video on seed saving. But anyhow, it's a nice little rack that we have. It's kind of small, but we have a small house, and we'll start as much as we can in here.
And it's on wheels.
And it's on wheels, so we could wheel it in and out if we want.
Yeah.
And then outside, I have that little greenhouse that I started to build out of wood. So as soon as some of these are ready to go outside, they'll go in there. So I just got some 5-gallon buckets, and I'm going to put water in and an immersion heater in, and that's how I'm going to heat the little greenhouse. And I got a little thermometer thing that will tell me the temperature. It's a remote thermometer. Yeah, this is the sensor part of it. So these work pretty good. They're not 100% accurate. They're off a degree or so, but that's close enough for me. And then I have the sensor reader in on my bookshelf, so I can see what temperature it is outside, and I could adjust the heater accordingly. So that's our little rack. So we got the potatoes ready to go in for tomorrow. I think we're going to try and plant them tomorrow, or at least I'll prep the ground tomorrow. You saw our potato patch, and I'll show you more of that tomorrow. But what I'm going to do is I have the clay soils there. We tilled it. We tilled the ground cover under because the ground cover didn't die over the winter. And I'm going to put some horse manure on the top and then compost on top of that. Put the potatoes in the ground and then cover it with straw. So over 16 by 16 area. But that's a job in itself. That'll take me all day. Okay, so that's our rack for starting our seeds. Any questions, put them below. And it's Charlie and Teresa, Garden for Two.